Hey y'all, it's Tika with Talk That Talk TV, and let's just dive right into season 1, episode 6 of The Boys. And this one, we definitely got to know a lot of the characters in this series. So, the number one character that we got to meet was Homelander. Now, we know Homelander, the infamous mean guy. Yes, he has the laser sharp eyes that will cut you literally like a knife. However, we see a moment where Homelander is introducing himself, exposing the world to his so called home that he was raised in, and then he sees his blue blanket and he literally spazzes out, kicks everyone, or stops everything that he's doing and just walks out. Of course, Stillwell has to come and let him know, hey, let's just get through this. Everything's going to be okay. So he sees his blue blanket, which was thrown in the trash that said do not use, but he gets this blanket out of the trash and he starts to reflect on how, as a young boy, this blue blanket was the only thing that kept him company. He was a young boy, literally in the room with no one there to talk to him in this particular room because they didn't know. Clearly, this was an experiment. They didn't know how to handle someone or a child like Homelander. We see the doctor, and this is all a part of Vought's plan of creating these babies or creating these soups. But we see the doctor who he waves at Homelander as a baby, and Homelander kind of smiles and kind of plays with him. But that's the only interaction that Homelander ever really receives. There's no mother there, there's no real father there, there's no television, there's no games, just him and in this blue hard steel or hard room with that blue blanket. So then we see Butcher, and Butcher is taking Huey to I call it the Alcoholic Anonymous meeting of soups or people who have been injured by soups or affected by soups. We meet two specific characters. One is a writer. He's actually a writer for Vought, and he says how he was in love with this one soup who was she was the ice queen, basically the ice princess, where when she and he were intimate and he was inside of her, she literally froze and snapped his man part off. But he says he still loves her. But Butcher is there to try to get people to hate the soups more and more. But it's clearly not working. This is a therapy to help these people get through it. So then we see where Butcher and Huey are sitting outside at this particular little park. And Butcher says to Huey, this was the last place that I saw my wife. I know that she was raped by Homelander, and after that she just disappeared. So I'm thinking that he unalived her, which is why I hate him so much. Then we meet the mesmerizer, aka Mesmer. We're reaching out to him to see if he can use his psychic ability or his clairvoyant ability to figure out who Kimiko, that we now know her name is, who she really is and what's her real story. Now, this is a bad idea because they really shouldn't be out in the public, but they do it anyway. And the way that they use Mesmer is to say, okay, we'll let you see your little girl if you do this deal. So then Mesmer takes everybody to his home and he holds her hand. We know her as the girl right now, but Mesmer holds her hand, and she gets so scared that she literally breaks his wrist, and he wants to go to the hospital. Like, he literally wants to stop this whole thing, as a person should. But is like, no, what we're gonna do is you're gonna let me fix this. I can split this, and we're gonna find out exactly who she is. We're gonna complete this whole process. So after a moment, she grabs his hand again and she wants him to tell her story. We see that it is dark. She looks like she's out in the jungle type area. She's in and out of this particular tent, and she has a gun. So she looks as if she's some type of warrior or some type of person, a soldier or something. And then Mesmer says that she is actually some type of terrorist, but in actuality, that's not who she is. of course, Butcher is like, oh, you messing with the terrorists. But she says, no, here, get my full story. And the tree or the image that she's been trying to draw was a palm tree over a moon. We also see that Kamiko has a boy, and her name is Kamiko, but she has a brother. And Frenchie says, we're going to try to help you get to your brother. Take her back down to the basement from Butcher, okay? Of course, he wants her to stay out of the way until he can figure out what he's going to do. So he goes to Rainer and tries to make a deal with Rainer, but Rainer says this deal is a no-go because in that deal, Butcher wants to get permission to take out Homelander. So basically, because he's not allowed to take out Homelander, there's no deal. They don't get their identities back or anything. So then we see Mesmer, and he is on the telephone calling someone, calling the lady, Miss Tina, who was responsible for watching his daughter at the foster care system. And he says that it's clear that my daughter really didn't want to see me, and I just hope that you guys will take care of her. So the next thing you know, we see Mesmer going up a whole bunch of stairs, and outside is waiting Homelander. So Mesmer is literally burning the boys again by telling Homelander, here are the images of the people who you've been looking for. Here's the guy with the accent, the guy, the black guy, the quirky white guy, like here are all the guys, here's the French guy, like he's giving all these images. He's showing Homelander all these things, all of the images of the people, all of this just so he can be a part of the seven. He wants to get back into Vought in some shape, form, or fashion. I'm pretty sure that Homelander does not care about any of that now that he has the information or the proof that he had actually been looking for. And as we can see, y'all, Huey is one of the faces that Homelander recognizes. So then we see Starlight, and Ashley is big pissed at her because Ashley has just been fired. She is upset with Starlight because Starlight has not been around to do the videos that she was supposed to be doing. She also, basically destroyed the whole speech that she was giving, but it really wasn't her destroying anything. It was her telling her truth. So then she sits down with Madeline and Stillwell said, oh, you fired Ashley? Like, why would you do that? And so Stillwell tells her that she's basically a spoiled brat, and she thinks she's entitled, and if she doesn't get her act together, she would basically get fired. Well, Starlight flips that thing on her and says, if you're going to fire me, it would look real crazy if I were to go to the people and let them know after being sexually harassed that you fired me, after I told the world that I was sexually harassed. So Huey and Starlight are sitting and they're talking, and he's just trying to get to know a little bit more about her super capabilities. And she says that, the doctor told her mother that when she came out, she was, shooting out razors out of her eyes. And so then they have a moment where they talk about going and just running away and living on the pink beaches. And after that, they find a kiss within the two of them. And also, Huey sees his girlfriend, Robin, who of course was unalived by A-Train. But she's there and then she disappears. And that's giving him the permission, to go ahead with this relationship with Starlight. But then, y'all, in the midst of it all, Butcher walks up and interrupts the entire kiss. He sees where Huey has been because Huey has been lying, but find out that Huey has been hanging with Starlight, and Butcher is there like kind of threatening Huey to tell that Huey was the one that unalived Translucent. Anyway, you guys, what are you guys thinking? How are you guys feeling about the boys? Let me know in the comments. This episode 6, was absolutely crazy. We're definitely getting to learn more and more about each one of the characters. So let me know your thoughts. Who's your favorite character so far? Who's your least favorite character so far? Okay? All right, y'all. Well, your girl is up out of here. Thank you for tapping in to Talk That Talk TV. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so that you can receive reminders of new Talk That Talk contents, okay? All right, y'all. Your girl is out of here. Have a great one. Talk that talk.